What is the next layer of expansion? More urban, more rural, or more franchise driven?
Actually, a combination of all three, right? And I think there's enough opportunity in India all across, right? India is urbanizing at a very fast pace. It's urbanizing not only in the bigger cities and therefore the kind of malls, etc., that are being set up, right? But also you won't believe the pace at which the urbanization is happening in the smaller towns, right? Towns which are basically between, let's say, 50,000 to 5 lakhs are expanding really fast. Not only the population in these towns, but also the number of such towns. Right, and that is also very large opportunity, especially with the ambition that we've got that, we want to cater to everyone every day, right? And I think the last 5 years or 4 years journey that's there of, franchise, which was less than 100, now it's, very close to touching 700 stores. So it's one of the largest franchise networks by self, right? Despite, we already have 1,300 company-owned stores. So you will see a lot of expansion across both these segments and driven by both the COCO as well as the franchise model. The smaller towns obviously will prefer the franchise model. It's far more efficient, as well as obviously, as I said, it collaborates and roots in the local entrepreneurs, right? And they do a wonder job for us.
But Gunjan, how many additional pin codes can Bata realistically enter over the next 3 to 5 years? And where would the next 10 to 15% of incremental store-led growth come from?
I don't know about pin codes, but we are at about, so across, let's say, very close to, I think, about 1900 plus, 1950 odd EBO stores that we have, exclusive brand outlets. We would be covering roughly at about 600 odd towns, right? My sense is that this can easily, in the next about 3 years or 3 to 5 years, be at about 1,000 towns. Right, the pace at which this urbanization is going on. So that gives you an idea. I am sure we can translate it into pin codes also.
Okay, look forward to that. But tell me, as we wind up this conversation, Gunjan, footwear retail is increasingly omni-channel now. What is Bata's strategy for integrating offline, online, direct-to-consumer to drive growth beyond this 5% level of the past decade?
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I think online will be a large part of this growth rate. As I said, it's been our fastest growing channel for the last 4-5 years. Now it's also significant contribution, right? It's now reached double-digit contribution, etc. We've been also conscious of making sure that it's a profitable contribution, right? So it's easy to get growth in e-commerce, but if you, are ready to, burn cash, etc. So we are profitable in e-commerce. But we still feel that I think we have a right to a much larger share. It should be in the next 3 years contributing 20% to our revenues and therefore driving growth even more. Now, how will that happen? I think 2-3 fronts. One is that we've invested significantly in something called, our own D2C platform, which is Bata.com. We have just recently, about 3 months back, launched the Bata app. Right. And we have a whole bunch of loyal consumers. We've got a loyal database, consumers who frequently buy with us of almost 1 crore plus. And we are obviously gradually ramping up our, the app downloads, etc. In this, we see retention and conversion much faster here. Our average value realization on the app is much better. So there will be a lot of concerted activity on that D2C side. The other piece that's there is also the marketplaces, and obviously a large portion of the business for the category, for the industry as well as for us comes from there. There are two-pronged. One is obviously better engagement. Many marketplaces, quick commerce is a very large avenue. We are still, exploring with all the partners how best we can cater to the entire dynamics of quick commerce from a footwear perspective, but also creating a certain amount of now brand presence on these platforms. So a lot of investments will go behind that. The other piece is omni-channel, right? We are wanting to make sure we leverage this large 2,000 odd store network that we've got of ours, right? How do we make sure that they become significant fulfillment vehicles and engines for us? I think it's a USP that we carry. Not many players have anywhere close to even half this network. So I think you will see a lot more action in terms of how do we actively convert the store network into basically even omni-channel stores. So whether it's in terms of the way they are connected digitally in terms of fulfillment as well as driving sales, but also in terms of the way they are rewarded as well as measured for from an omni-channel profitability construct perspective. So I think all of this is what should fuel us to, as I said, a 20% plus contribution in online in the next 3 years.